Hello, and welcome to another very special episode of the RevOps Demystified Podcast. Today, we're joined by Olga Traskova, who is the VP of Revenue Operations at TigerConnect. Olga, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to the conversation.
Amazing. So actually, Olga, it seems like you, like myself, well, I didn't actually enter revenue operations, but you, I believe, came from a marketing background and then have transitioned into RevOps through that entry point. First of all, is that correct? And second, I'd like to ask how the kind of marketing background influences your role in RevOps, because typically we see somebody from a sales ops background going into RevOps. So there's two big questions, but first, how did we get into sales/RevOps? And then how does your marketing background influence how you run the revenue operation?
That's right. I do have marketing background. My education is marketing. And it just sort of happened about 15 years ago. I landed a marketing operations job. It was not called marketing ops back then. We went through, as you may remember, marketing automation, marketing technology. At some point, we were called marketing ninjas or growth hackers. Now we're sort of settled right on the marketing operations. So I spent about 10 years in the core marketing operations role. But as you develop in the marketing ops, you start asking questions yourself, and your CMOs ask questions: what's working, why it's working, and you're pushed to be more proactive than reactive. And I very quickly realized that I have to expand. Marketing ops shoes, it's not like I've grown out of them, but to be able to answer all of the questions from my CMO, to be able to truly work on the marketing and sales alignment, we have to work and look further than just the marketing operations. So, yeah, marketing is my background. Marketing is always in my heart, and I sort of organically, just through my natural curiosity and natural curiosities of my CMOs, transitioned into first pipeline analytics and then revenue operations. And you're right. We are a rarity here in the revenue operations world. There are not that many RevOps people with the marketing background. And I think usually marketing is not like ignored, but it does not get the enough attention that it deserves, right? So that's what I'm bringing to the table now. Marketing controls so much data, pretty much all of the go-to-market data. Pretty much like 70% of the tech stack and 90% of the budget. So it is essential and important to have that marketing seat at the table of the revenue operations and the revenue engine.
Would you say that TigerConnect is a marketing-driven or sales-driven business?
You know what? We are actually revenue-driven business. We do have revenue engine committee, which I lead. And for the almost first time in my life, we have representatives from the key teams. We do have marketing leaders, sales enablement, sales operations, marketing operations, finance leaders at that table, where we are looking at the forecasting, we're looking at the major marketing motions, we're looking at the pipeline development, we're looking at the key metrics. So I cannot say that we're definitely marketing driven, but we're looking for that complete alignment into what happens on the marketing side and the sales motion. Oh, and what happens after it's closed won, right? What happens on the client success side as well? What are the key motions we're driving in the client success side? So it's really about the buyer's journey that we're focusing on rather than just separated departments. As long as we keep talking about marketing versus sales, it's still siloed. So we're following the complete buyer's journey to make sure that the processes and the tools and the metrics, the KPIs are all aligned and that all tell a story throughout the process.
Did you start the Revenue Engine Committee?
They started it for me. I've been with TigerConnect for only 5 months. Joined in May 2021, and basically my first week here, my CMO handed off me this meeting and told me, "Now you run it." It was a little bit intimidating at the beginning, right? So where do we start? It's a pretty large committee, and to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're just not talking the talk, but we all leave the meeting with the outcomes. So that was a challenge for me at first to set it up. Now we do have a dashboard that we'll look at bi-weekly, and now we're layering an AI on top of that dashboard, a tool that we are bringing in. So this is basically that one leaflet that marketing, sales leaders, finance, client success leaders are looking at to get the pulse of the business, right? The heartbeat of the business. Are we on track with the pipeline coverage? Are we on track? Let's start with the top of funnel. Are we on track with increase in MQLs, pipeline coverage, forecasting, closed one, how the onboarding of the new clients is going on? And then we already started planning for the 2022. So it is really this, heartbeat of the business, checking it, making sure we're all on the same page. We have each representative deliver on the major initiatives. For example, sales enablement also participates in the revenue engine meeting, and their biggest motion is let's sell. So working on the onboarding, ramp, content mapping, working with the product marketing and sales ops on the sales methodologies, and making sure that it's easy for sales to sell. They know what tools to use, when to use them. They know where to grab their content and what content to use when. Marketing ops would speak about the lead scoring, say, for example, and what we're doing to drive the top of funnel activities.
Got it. So in that meeting, just to clarify, we can have sales enablement. I assume we have sales ops, we have marketing ops, we have success ops. Yeah, are there any other parties represented?
We have CFO, so TigerConnect revenue operations resides under CFO. So we do have CFO, we do have CMO, we do have CRO. So the key executive leaders, as well as the operational leaders within each department, as well as the sales enablement. And it's pretty fluid. That's the core structure of the revenue engine committee. Whenever we have questions on the forecasting, on the pipeline trends, whenever we spot issues with the pipeline coverage or with how we're trending to closed one this quarter, we will invite the sales leaders. We will invite some, maybe even salespeople, to talk about the key deals or talk about what they're seeing on the market, right? So we are trying to, besides this core committee, keep it fluid. And then if there are questions, we would invite, department leads to what the marketing campaigns, events webinars that we're running, or pipeline issues that they might be seeing.
Got it. So did you just going back to your transition from marketing to RevOps, was that at Cornerstone where you first officially took on revenue operations responsibilities?
That was at Saba. Saba was pre-Cornerstone, and Saba was acquired by Cornerstone. I spent almost 5 years before the acquisition at Saba. And this is so... I've been telling this story, so I think I can. I'm not going to hurt anyone's feelings. I think I brought the revenue operations notion to Saba. I attended Dreamforce back in times when we were able to attend Dreamforces, and I was really impressed and motivated by one of the sessions that I attended. It was about the revenue operations. At that time, we struggled with the data integrity and the data misalignment between marketing and sales. My data set and my analysis was always different from the sales ops analysis. And even though we were so close with the sales operations, we were connected at the hip. We had weekly, daily meetings, calls, etc. But then there was always something breaking between our analysis. So I attended this session where they showed a dashboard and what the reference that they used, a stitched kilt. And they said, this dashboard does not look like a stitched kilt. It actually tells a story. And then I realized that a lot of our dashboards actually looked like stitched kilts. And it's not going to work. It's not scalable. It's not there. So I came back and I spoke to my leaders. Really shared this beliefs. I became a believer in the revenue operations. And about 6 months later, we restructured. My manager at that time, VP of Revenue Operations, was brought into Saba. We also reported into CFO and marketing ops, myself, sales ops, my colleagues from sales ops, client success ops, IT tech, and then we also had a PMO office. Were brought into this revenue operations department. We definitely had some friction, maybe for a quarter or two, trying to find new ways to work together under one roof, under the same umbrella. But after almost 2.5, 3 years of revenue operations there, it was a well-oiled machine. I know it sounds like cliche, but it was. With a very limited budget, with a very limited resources, we were able to accomplish the process that worked. It was easy on each side it was easy on the marketing side. It was an easy handoff or delivery from marketing into sales. It was clear and clean tracking on the sales ops side, and then a clear tracking on the client success side. We had team responsible for the tech stack, for the technologies, so they would support us with the applications. We also layered some pipeline analytics to look further into the pipeline, into the forecasting. So what we developed there was beautiful. And then we got acquired by Cornerstone and we started rebuilding it there. And I joined TigerConnect.
So it was 6 months from the Dreamforce talk to you guys formalizing the RevOps function or approach.
Yes, more or less.
What did you have to do in that 6 months to convince the business?
I think the business was almost convinced, right? And RevOps is a hot thing now. If you look online, it's everywhere, right? The issue is that not a lot of companies are adopting the structure or even the mindset because they might be already so heavy in the structure, so heavy invested in the current processes, they're not agile. The benefit of us at that point was that we were pretty flexible, right? We did not have that many resources nor processes. We were basically 2 people marketing ops, 3 people sales ops. So it was easy to put it together from the operational and the tactics standpoint. And I think also, the executives just got tired when a CMO presents this set of data and a sales leader has completely different set of data. So they realized that it's not going to work. So, and after the executive meetings, I would receive a call and be like, well, our data is wrong again. So it all comes down to the alignment, be able to report on the same data set, look at the same set of metrics, be on the same page, not the stitched kilt, but the actual storytelling with the data. So the pain was there, and maybe that Dreamforce session was very timely to just highlight, hey, this pain is solvable, and it's pretty easy to solve. And it actually made a lot of sense that we started reporting to CFO, sort of like a third party. There's always this continuous fight, right, between marketing and sales. So to eliminate the bias, it was also very smart of us to have RevOps being under a CFO. So we're like Switzerland. We are not taking sides, but we are just we are setting up the processes and making sure we're aligning with the buyer's journey instead of marketing versus sales. Again, jumping into that siloed bandwagon/war.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good point. And I don't think I've heard or we've heard a RevOps or SalesOps function reporting to the CFO, but I love your rationale for that. You said you're not siding with anyone, but in reality, you're actually siding with the business because the CFO, which is also siding with the customers, as you said, with the buyer's journey. So it makes total sense. What would you say is a big focus for you moving into 2022 in the new role?
So we are resetting the processes. I believe in keeping things simple, letting sales sell, and most importantly, letting buyers buy. So we are focused on that. We are making sure from top to bottom of the entire funnel, our processes are simple. There are no bottlenecks. We're not overcomplicating things, right? It is easy to find us online. It is easy to get on our website. It is easy to consume content. And then it is easy to ask for demo or pricing and get into the sales hands. And then for sales, it is also easy to follow the sales process. So the top of the funnel, starting with the website redesign that we did a couple of months ago, product repackaging, also making it easy to buy and understand the products. Lead scoring, lean data, so it's routing. And then we also launched the new sales methodology. We went with Medic and trained sales teams on the new sales methodology, automated it as much as possible in Salesforce, also tracking those Medic key points in Salesforce to be able to then track and report adoption. So and after closed one, being able to quickly onboard it, track the client success. We actually just hired a client success operations director, which is also a rarity in this world. After trying to recruit one, let me tell you, there are not that many client success operations specialists that understand what it takes to onboard a client, to keep it healthy, to minimize the risks, how to better use Gainsight in conjunction with Salesforce, et cetera. And that's going to be our new representative on the revenue journey, on the revenue engine committee, of course. So what I'm trying to do is untangle all of these complicated processes for marketing and for sales and for sales ops and automate as much as possible. And another thing is provide more visibility to my executives on the forecasting and the analytics side, so that we can early in the cycle identify the gaps, so that marketing can tailor marketing campaigns to certain buyer groups, so that sales can attack certain opportunities early when we're seeing the activity level is dropping or something like that.
Makes total sense. Letting buyers buy, I think, is what we're going to call this episode. Now, Olga, the final and most important question is, who in the world of sales ops who in the world of revenue ops would you most like to take for lunch?
Jordan from RingDNA. I've been listening to their podcast as well. I love how relaxed they are. RevOps can be complicated and it can be pretty dramatic during the everyday life. I like how on their webcast, these three guys, they just really chill about it. So when I feel stressed and I drive from work home, I just listen to them. I'm like, it's just going to be okay. So it makes me feel good about the job and about the future of revenue operations.
Shout out to the guys at RingDNA. What's the name of the podcast?
I believe it's the RevOps.
We'll find it and we'll link to it.
Yeah,
in this.
It's the RingDNA RevOps podcast.
Amazing. Olga, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been an incredible journey, right? And I think it's super cool what you did at the company that got acquired. I've got it here. It was Saba, that then got acquired by Cornerstone. I think it was super cool what you did to go from these segregated teams to that one cohesive RevOps function. And then I also love your point about reporting to the CFO. I think that's super interesting. We haven't really heard it before. And then finally, your focus on the simplicity of what we're really trying to do here, which is let the seller sell and then the buyers buy. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for having me so much. Thank you.